and again, all of you here know about Alka, and today it's kind of a special topic. She is going to talk about Prakruti, Vikruti, and also Nadi Pariksha. And there is one instrument that Dr. Aniruddha Joshi has invented, and it's in the market, and it's something that it's Alka very much liked it, and it's something that we will try to see how helpful it is for people in Shri Yoga, and also not just Shri Yoga, but in this area, or everywhere, wherever we have this self-care group and Shri Yoga and so on. So without much need for introduction of Alka. Alka, if you go ahead and tell about yourself.
Sure. All right. So thank you so much, first of all, as usual, for giving a chance on Shri Yoga platform. This is one of the platform I personally love to come, and I really enjoy having everybody I talk to. So to give you the background about myself, as I've been working with Shri Yoga for a little while now. So by profession, I have both these sides, the conventional side as well as the holistic side. On the conventional side, I work at the background of compounding pharmacy. I work as a formulator there as well as the compounder, along with specially helping pharmacists to develop the formulations. And on the holistic side, I'm a registered clinical herbalist and also board certified in holistic nutrition. I also have my own independent practice at the same pharmacy where I work in the compounding side as well. We are 3 practitioners together. There are a couple of licensed nutritionists as well as the dietitian along with me. And I see my particular clients and patients from my specialization mainly in the clinical herbalism is Ayurveda. I do use the TCM as well, but Ayurveda is more which I practice because it comes from the roots. And also the holistic nutrition, which I follow in my practice as well. So today's topic, actually, one of the main reasons of coming for this particular presentation is basically what I've got fascinated with, and I'm glad that I was a part of BMM, which is it's one of the organization, Marathi organization all over United States, and we had a convention in month of June where I actually met this gentleman here. Was one of the genius doctors who is basically an inventor, and he's an engineer by profession, but he has practitioners at home, which actually invented one of the best, I would say, what I've used so far in the pulse analysis, who has rather nothing was done something that in the field of Ayurveda, which I have personally seen before. And it is surprising to see that this particular instrument was used in India, or rather getting used in India from last 6 years, I believe. And we had no idea about that. So I'm glad that I met him. When I saw the instrument, his capacity to how the things are getting analyzed, the overall idea behind it, I was like, I want to have this in my practice as well. I bought it rare. And I'm glad I did, because I've been using with my clients pretty regularly now, along with my intake forms and the tongue analysis as my other way of analyzing the Prakruti, as well as what are the different elements we are working with for the nutrition side as well. So he's here on the platform. If you have any questions, you can ask him at the end as well. But just to give you an idea what every person should know about the Nadi, or rather the pulse, the whole presentation is for that. So with further delay, just to keep everybody, everybody has to keep in mind that whatever you are going to see in this presentation is strictly for the educational purposes only. If you are making any changes to your diet, your supplements, or your nutrition side, make sure that you are actually talking to your prescriber or your doctors, whoever is you are in immediate care with first, before you start anything. And as Kaka mentioned, or Shrikant Sabnis mentioned, that we are going to have this instrumental use. As I said, I already use in the practice, but he has already bought one for Shri Yoga. So we are going to make it available just to understand the Prakruti and Vikruti, whoever is interested in knowing, and we can take further the further step towards that. All right, so as we all know that our bodies, rather all of us have the influence of five fundamental primordial forces. So as per Ayurveda, all our bodies, even the seasons, all this universe has those five forces which act on us, which is air, water, fire, akash, or we call it as it's the ether or overall ether or the space. And the last one is the Prithvi, which is the earth. So all five elements, they not only influence overall universe, not only influence the seasons, it also influences our bodies. And when it comes to the doshas, how all those five forces, when they come together, they form into three doshas. We call it as we are all familiar with these doshas. We have talked about this multiple times. The three main doshas which we all are built up with or are born with, there is kapha, pitta, and vata. Along with over here, they call it as kapha, pitta, and vata. Basically, the actual pronunciation is kapha, pitta, and vata. The three pictures which we are going to see are with the different personalities on the pictures, or personalities wise, or rather three different doshas which you are seeing on this slide. So on the leftmost side, which you are seeing here, the personality which is more vibrant, with the oily skin, with the curly hair, with the broad smile and more energetic, and the medium frame, which you are looking at the leftmost person, that's more comes from the Pitta Prakriti or Pitta constitution. The middle person, which you are seeing more little on the skinnier side, which is with the small build, with different types of teeth. Also, here it is not pretty much clear, but they have a different types of teeth built overall. That is more giving you an idea about the Vata person. And on the right side, which is more on the heavier build or the heavier frame, is more onto the Kapha side. And when we talk about these three different doshas, the elements which actually comes together to form those doshas. So Pitta dosha has an influence of the element of fire as well as the element of water. So when fire and water comes together, it forms the Pitta dosha. When it comes to the Vata dosha has two different elements which comes together and forms Vata dosha. That is your ether and your air. So space and air together forms the Vata dosha. And finally, the Kapha dosha has the element which more on the influential side or brings or forms the Vata dosha, Kapha dosha together, is your water and your earth. So it's one of the heaviest one, you can say. Now, as you can see, we are going to talk about quickly the different characteristics of this dosha, and we are going to turn towards the nadis. So when it comes to the Vata dosha, overall, Vata, I would say in among all three doshas, the Vata is more of the, it's like a king dosha of all, because without that tiny Vata, which can move around anywhere it wants or can go anywhere, there's no boundaries for the imaginations. Those are the Vata people. Who, without these Vata people, the running of the industry is not possible. They are one of the most creative people. As you know, it's a combination of air and ether together. There are pros and cons with each doshas. There is no perfect dosha as such. Everybody has or rather every dosha has their own characteristics, pluses and minuses. But when they all three of them work together, they form the big, strong, solid bodies. Then the characteristics of Pitta dosha, as we know, it's a combination of fire and the water. So they are more like, go-getters. They are more on the perfect management side. Just looking at their frames, by looking at them, you will not lose or you will not skip the people with Pitta dosha. They are one of the best managers, you can call it as. They know how to run the industry or run the show overall. So that's a Pitta dosha you are looking around. And the Kapha doshas are more, again, any kind of these one of the three doshas, it's very easy to identify overall with their physics, the outside characteristics as per se. So Kapha dosha is the combination of water and the earth together. They have solid personalities as the properties of the water and earth together. They have a longest stamina you could go for, or they can go for, if you give them a time rather than doing them. You will not see them with the very speed, like go, not that type of personality, but they are slow but steady. They have the longest stamina you could ask for. Now, when it comes to the constitution, or what you say, the constitution and opposite of constitution, we call it as constitution is our prakruti, and vikruti is our the imbalance of our overall constitution. Now, what exactly is the prakruti is, or what exactly prakruti is overall? So it's an akruti where we are actually born with. So this is something you are born with. This is not something you are going to change. There are many factors which gets involved when it comes to the birth of a child, during the pregnancy period of time, how the mother is actually nurturing the baby, and that's why we have garbha sanskar, or we call it as during the pregnancy period, the woman is supposed to have certain things avoiding in her diets. There's a particular diet she should be eating, more of the sattvic type of diet, more nourishing towards the fetus. Whatever she learns, whatever she reads, whatever she sees, rather, the words which she is listening, all these impact the growth of the development of the fetus, you can say, not only physically, especially the mentally. So for us in overall Hinduism, you can say, or in India, Garbha Sanskar is one of the best or the most important part when it comes to the pregnancy. And it is determined by its own inherited doshas. It's possible that if mother and the father is bringing certain doshas, it can easily get passed on to the baby because of the genetical compositions as well. Now, as I said, there is no particular right or the wrong dosha which you're born with. Just because you're born with a vata dosha, that does not make you a specific type of right or the wrong person. If you are trying to if you exactly know what dosha you are born with, and if you can take best out of it, it's absolutely possible to live a harmonious life, which is achieved by maintaining that balance. Now, when it comes to the overall prakruti, when it comes to your own doshas, as I said, the overall universe has the impact of all these 5 elements, all these different doshas, which are also present in the outside world. So when the season changes, when the daytime changes, there are all these doshas they have their particular, particular place at those seasons and on this time of the day. So that whatever you eat during those type of seasons, whatever you eat during that time of the day, it does impact your prakriti. So that's why Ayurveda has given us a particular time frame or particular the planning, you can say, to how to follow, what type of dosha should follow, what type of a routine when it comes to the seasons, when it comes to the days or during the daytime. There are ways to follow those things. There are rules and regulations to follow to maintain that harmony in the life. And when it comes to the vikruti, so when you start going against your akriti, where you are born with, say, for example, you are born with the vata pitta constitution, or you are born with just vata constitution. Instead of following a particular diet, instead of following a particular lifestyle for that constitution, if you are going against it by anything, by going against your way you eat, or other way you think, or other some things which are not supposed to do during the nighttime when you're staying awake for a longer period of time, or you're not making best out of your dosha, that's the time when the other dosha starts getting overpowered to your prakriti, and then the vikruti, the other side of the dosha, starts forming. Now, is it possible for us to bring them back in balance? Absolutely can. If you know your prakriti, you know what's going on. First, to understand what your prakriti is, then to know, or rather accept, that something's going on with me. And because the body, as I said, the body always gives you that signalings from inside that this is the time you have to take care. The first thing, as I said, when something's going on hormonally, with digestive upsets, the body tells you with giving you the first, affecting your malas. So, for example, the hair loss will start happening. The nails will start getting brittle. So these are the indications from your bodies to signal you that, hey, it is your time to see, you understand, and take a proper help. So if you know your vikruti, you know your prakriti, and how to get that balance, and then it's a good time for us to get into the see a proper practitioner and get back into the balance. Now, to attain the harmonious well-being, one must, as I said, one must know what your prakriti is. You must understand what your prakriti is. And at the time when you know that there is something going on, it's important for you to take the appropriate measures and then bring your Prakriti back into the balance. Now, for the practitioners over here or all over the world, whoever is practicing not only Ayurveda, any holistic practices as well, all different systems, like even traditional Chinese medicine or even the Western medicine, which was born quite too later than the other two ancient herbal systems were. Like Ayurveda and TCM were quite old ones, but the new systems like nutrition systems and the clinical nutrition also requires certain type of a health assessment. On this, there are particular 3 categories which are brought together, or other informations which is coming from 3 particular categories are put together, and then the assessments for the health is being done. So first one is the darsana or darshana. We call it as darshana. Is the inspection of your pulse, your tongue, your urine, your feces, your sound, your touch, your sight, your shape. So when a person comes for any kind of a assessment to a practitioner, then the first thing the practitioner observes is and this comes from a lot of years of training, as well as with the experiences as well. When the person walks in, he brings his own aura with him. He has its own smell. He has its own sound of walking, his own sound of, or rather way of sitting, how he talks, how he gives his gestures. So by those, there is first inspection can be seen with your eyes. Then after doing certain examinations of like when the tongue pictures are being seen, when the pulse is taken, if you have a report of urine, your feces, and the way you talk, the touch of the skin, all of these, and your body build, everything gives you that first information of darsana. The second one is sparshana or sparsha, which is completely a physical examination, which we normally don't do here in the holistic practice. The chiropractors are the only one who can actually touch the person. The last one is the sparsana, which is the complete prashna, which is the complete history of lifestyle and symptoms. So this is always a question for many people that, hey, why you have so many forms to fill when we fix an appointment? There are 2 major forms I ask for, the metabolic assessment and the health assessment, because there are like tens of questions, you can say, needs to be filled. The more you give the detailed answer with, it's easier for you to connect the dots with the tongue analysis, with the pulse analysis, how we see a person. And when we see a person actually sitting in front of us, it's more valuable when we are actually making our own judgment about the certain assessment. Now, when darshana, we're talking about the darshana is also known as ashthasthana pariksha. Ashta means 8. So it refers to that 8-fold examination. We talked about the pulse with tongue, urine, feces, sound, touch, sight, and shape. So that's one of the most important parts. Now over here, many practitioners which are educated here, they are getting, or rather this is what happened with me as well. I got more trained onto the tongue analysis. All we did in the clinicals was seeing the tongues over tongues in the day. Like whatever clients we used to see, the main thing was to have lots of tongues getting checked. Of course, the pulse analysis was taught, but sometimes it's not as detailed as you can learn in India. In India, you find one of the best practitioners, ancient way practicing practitioners for many generations back in India are. And if you really have to learn the basics, or not just the basics, but if you have to learn in detail how the Nadi Pariksha is being done, you have to go and stay there. In the states of, there are Maharashtra, there are some practitioners which are still practicing with the Nadi analysis, and they are in different, not in the specific villages, but you can find them in different small villages as well. Same thing in Kerala. Kerala still preserves its Nadi Pariksha category of analyzing. So you can find those practitioners there, but just by checking the Nadi for 2 minutes, they are done. You don't have to even say anything that what's going on with those things they can find out. Similarly, over here, it's more training on the tongue analysis. We are going to get towards that, and we'll probably have another session along with my other partner from Shri Yoga. We are trying to combine that session as well. But today we are only going to talk about the Nadi Pariksha. When it comes to the Prashna, or it's called as the intake examination or the intake of the forms. So there are particular questions you are going to see on that examination. So Prashnas are with what are your structural, functional abnormalities, or where you live, what is your physical stamina and seasonal condition, digestive capacities, what's your Prakruti, what's your age, how well you respond to that stress, what are your habits, what your lifestyle, what is your daily diet. And it is very, very surprising for me to see that all these examinations, when I got the Nadi Tarangini, which we are going to talk about, that beautiful instrument, which I've started using very frequently now, they have come up with that. You could see the research behind that instrument, how much of a research the inventor must have done to come to that point where each and everything gets noted down there. Each and everything is under the same platform, where it's very easy for the practitioners to come, see, judge, and then go ahead and come up with the actual diagram. So it's a beautiful way. And I'm very happy that all these questions are also asked in that Nadi Pariksha. So it's not just us who are doing it. It's also been combined with the platform like Nadi Tarangini, which is actually using these particular questionnaires. Now, I was talking about the tongue analysis. Now, what is the importance of tongue analysis? We are moving towards the Nadi because tongue and Nadi are one of the best ways to analyzing your Vikruti and Prakruti at the time. I would say that's one of the basic things we are going to talk about. There are so many things we can talk in detail, but we have time limitations, and it's like years and years of you can say presentations we can go for. Now, what tongues gives you mainly from the TCM actually uses tongue analysis is their main thing rather than pulse. So for us, Ayurveda is more pulse side, but TCM is more on the tongue side. In Ayurveda, mainly the tongue has been seen for two important things. First, to use by what type of a Prakruti the person is with, considering the shape and the color of the tongue, which never changes. With any kind of elements also, the shape and the tongue is never going to change. The shape and the color of the tongue is never going to change. It remains the same. And the coating actually gives you the direct relationship to the person's Vikruti, that what is going on currently with its digestive system, or how the digestive fire is at this point looking like, because that coating does change as the health is declining or it is improving. So that is the best way of knowing how the coating is changing. And that's how we know when it comes to the recurrent appointments that, okay, this kind of an improvement is seen on the tongue. But now, as I said, since I have the Nadi pulse analysis or Nadi analysis, the machine also with me, I can combine both, and it's giving me the right target where we are going towards from the nutritional side as well. Now, on the tongue, there are mappings, just like Nadi is giving you the certain mappings. On the tongue also, there are certain mappings which we see. We are not going to go in details, but these are the particular organs relations which we see onto the tongue. And those particular area gives us an idea, oh, the element is over here. The element is over here. And on the right side, what you're seeing is the different taste on the tongue, which has been mapped as well. In Ayurveda, the Ayurvedic taste has a very, very, very important role to play because of the type of Prakriti you're in, what type of taste you should be accommodating in your diet when you are at particular constitution you're built with, or when you have a certain Vikruti, what type of a taste you should be avoiding. All that data is important for us when it comes to the analyzing Vikrutis and Prakrutis. Now, this is just an example to give you this picture. Just says, if you can see, look at the coating. There are lots of cracks onto the surface of this tongue. So this gives me an idea. This person is extremely dry inside. So probably the vata is provoking inside, and it's coming onto the digestive tract somewhere in the middle, and it's lots of cracks, which is right at the center of the digestive system. So by considering the pulse analysis also, and whatever I'm seeing on the color side, I'm going to combine that and come with the right plan, what is needed to give, what type of herbs are needed to control that overly vata overpowering, or if the digestive system is weak at that time, if the food is not getting digested at that time, then what needs to be done? And then this analysis is done again when the client comes to see for the next time. Now we are going to talk about our Nadi Pariksha, which we are here specifically for learning, or rather to understand what Nadi Pariksha is. Now there is a particular term called as 5 Tanmatra. So what is Tanmatra? Tanmatra, just like we have 5 universal elements, which are these are like all these 5 elements come with their own very, very, very small energies, or sukshma energies, you call it as. It's a very minute energies, subtle energies they are made up of, and it's on the atomic levels. So that those energies are referred to as tanmatra in Ayurveda. When somebody is experiencing something from the outside world, it's actually giving that information to our inside or our mind as well. Mind is also made with the 5 tanmantric substances, or the substances which are related to those 5 elements, and it's absorbing that information or those sensory things from outside. Each and every element has its own sensory organs connected. So air is with the touch, space is with the sound, fire is with the vision, water is with the taste, and earth is with the smell. And when that sensory organs provides that information to the mind, that those each and every element gets triggered, and it tells our mind, or our buddhi rather, which mind collects the information from, to analyze certain things or to know what's going on. Now, when it comes to the examination of pulse or the Nadi Pariksha, the pulse examination is related to the Sparsha Tanmatra. So Sparsha is the touch. So the Sparsha is the main Tanmatra which has been used for examining the pulse, so examining the pulse overall. Now, Nadi, as per Dr. Lad, which is one of the legendary Ayurveda expert in United States, I think everybody knows who is in the Ayurveda practicing field, who Dr. Lad is. It basically pulsates through our person's constitution. It's a subtle manifestation of universal consciousness that it's pulsating. So it's basically a prana of us, which is going all throughout our bodies, which is going from top to bottom, and it's just moving around inside us. So that Nadi gives you a right analyzing or analysis of what is going on inside your system. Now, there are other common names also you will find in different literatures of Ayurveda, or even in common literatures, which if you are interested in knowing, or if you're reading something. It has been also termed as Snayu, which is a subcutaneous tissue. Tantu, which is a string of musical instrument, which it gives you a music of your emotions, which tells you about your feelings, what is going on inside you. That's what it's called as Tantu. It's also known as Hansavahini. It's the vibration of breath. So basically, when you start breathing, you will see hum sa. So it's hum sa. It's the vibration of the breath. When we are saying hum and sa, that's vibrational energy which is getting captured through your nadi. Then dhamani is the artery. It's pulsating the vessel to carry the blood from our heart, away from our heart. So that's another name for the pulse as well. Dharani is another interesting name for the pulse, because it moves throughout all organs, and its job is to just hold everything together. It provides that prana to us. It provides that energy to us. So it just holds everything together. That's why it's also called as dharani. Now, when it comes to choose the pulse, what are the things we have to remember? These are the interesting things. We all can do this, or whoever is sitting and listening to this presentation, you can all do this quick thing with us. So there are 3 fingers which you are going to use while you are taking the nadi, first of all. Now, the nadi, the pulse of the radial artery, which is you are going to start. So when you're looking at your hand like this is the finger you have to consider while taking the nadi. So you have to consider the nadi taking at your thumb, and these are your 4 fingers. So when you're taking the nadi, you have to use first 3 fingers. This is the pointer, this is your middle finger, and this is your ring finger. So these 3 fingers should go under like that in next to our, or rather down our thumbs. That's the way you usually check the nadi. Now, it's why only towards the pulse, why it is usually done? It's because it's convenient. There are lots of pulses sites on our bodies, which you can do, but it's because of the convenience of taking nadi for even the practitioner, it's easier, or even for yourself to take the nadi, it's easier to do it by your next to your thumb. So it's radial artery is the best way to take it. And its availability also, other than the other pulse sites. Now, why the radial artery or why the radial pulse is rather chosen? Because it corresponds to your heartbeat. And what is Hridaya? The heart is the center of all five tanmatra. So all those five elements are coming together, and this is where our ojas resides. This is where our prana is moving through. So that's why everything comes from our heart. The heartbeat is important for us to know. And that's why usually the radial pulse is taken when it comes to the Nadi Pariksha. Now, how to feel the pulse on the arm when you are taking the pulse, which is the right way of taking it. So this is something you must have seen from all the Ayurveda, if you have seen any Ayurveda practitioners with the Nadi Pariksha, this is something you should do. It should always feel from the side, at the side of the thumb. Never, ever do the cross thumb. Never do the cross thumb like that. Never take your thumb towards or on the top of your fingers. It should be always coming down. So the way this Nadi Tarangini is designed, also that the practitioner can actually cross finger their hands and put the instrument to actually put this onto the radial artery. It's an amazing how that instrument has been designed. There's a lot of, as I said, lot of research has been done to come up with the right instrument, right shape of the instrument rather. And we are going to see about that going forward. So when it comes to the general characteristic of the doshic nadi as well, so what are the things, how we are going to see, what are the main thing we have to remember. Now, this is not a practitioner class, so this is just for the general, all of us to understand how we can actually take or rather see quick nadi if something's going okay from our side. This is for the general public. You can see all of these, lots of videos are available on YouTube also about that. The main thing what all of us should know about when it comes to the nadi is the gati or the speed of the nadi or the movement of the nadi, we can call it as. And it is compared to lots of different animals that time, because the way that the literature were written, how to understand better, but how to feel that nadi. So the best way of understanding that how the nadi is felt on your radial artery is by connecting them to the particular animal, which we can connect quickly because we see them in nature. Now, when it comes to the when it comes to the different doshas and how the nadi has been felt, so when it is, and we, as I said, we talked about three different fingers. So this first finger, the pointer finger, this is for your vata, the middle finger, which is for your pitta, and the ring finger, which is for your kapha. Now, when the nadi is felt, you will actually feel the nadi on the first one, which is the vata pulse, which feels like more like a snake. Say, for example, if you're touching a snake and it's crawling under you, the feel of that snake, how it's going to be, that's exactly how the vata pulse is felt. When the pitta pulse is felt, it's more like a jumping nadi. It's very, very strong. With the pitta pulse, you will never miss. It's a very strong pulse. So it's like a manduka gati. It's like frog jumping. You can feel that pulse right on your next to your radial artery as well. And the last one is the kapha pulse, which is hansagati. Hansagati it's like slow, it's smaller, and the pulse is usually it's manda. You can see actually it's a manda pulse. You can feel it right here. And this needs a lot of years of practice, because unless and until you actually feel different things, you'd actually feel the different different types of nadis, it's hard to even understand how the overall things are. But these are the three basic things which everybody can actually feel on our nadis as well. Now, there are several other gatis, or the what you can say rhythms, which are seen with the physical elements. There is a Jaluka gati, Krumi gati, Titrika gati, Lavaka gati, Kakaka gati, Vishama gati, and so on. Pipilika gati. So these are the different gatis which are connected to the different elements. If the practitioner feels any of these gatis, then he knows or she knows that this is something which is one of the main cause of having this gati, which why we are feeling this type of a gati. But to get into that, it's, as I said, it needs many years of practice, lot of concentration, because when you are considering, or rather when you are trying to listen to that subtle sounds of the gati, or when you are trying to connect as a practitioner to the person's inner or for a person's inside. You have to make sure that the practitioner is actually connecting himself or surrendering himself to the universe to connect them together. We are actually sensing our auras, and that the person's auras are connecting to each other. So lots of meditation practices, having calm when you're taking the gatis, also right postures when you're sitting and taking the pulses, it's important. The best time to take the Nadi Pariksha, or best time to see Nadi is basically in the regular literature, Ayurveda literature, they say the first thing in the morning when the stomach is empty, that's the best time to take it. That's why in many different Ayurveda centers, you will see the people actually stay there. And the practitioners they usually come in the morning and take your pulse readings on the different times of the day to see how the gatis are or how the pulse has been feeling. Now that there are different characteristics of the pulses, as we talked about, the vata pulse is felt under that first finger or the index finger. Usually the vata pulse is very fast, which is cold. It's thin, and it's usually 80 to 90 beats, you can say, as per the gati, because vata is air. Air is fast. It moves fast overall. So you can then feel that pulse is felt there. Then the pitta gati, pitta pulse is felt under the middle finger. Now it's pretty strong. It's actually hot to touch as well. And it's so strong, the bala is so strong sometimes that you can lift up the palpating finger. And it's about 70 to 80 beats per minute. Then kapha pulse is felt under the ring finger. It's pretty slow. It's very deep. It's thick and cold because of that extra subcutaneous fat in kapha people overall. So it's cool to touch, and it's about 50 to 60 beats per minute when you are actually checking it. Now, is it possible to feel different pulses at different fingers? Yes, you can. Say, for example, index fingers, which is a part of vata pulse, you are actually feeling the pitta pulse there. Why? Because pitta is actually pushing vata, or it is getting into the vata zone. And that means there are particular certain elements which we have to figure out, or we have to talk about that who is overpowering what. So similarly, at the pitta side, you can actually feel the vata pulse as well. On the kapha side, you can actually feel the vata or pitta pulse as well if they are interfering with each other. When the vikruti is pretty strong to going towards, and that's how we understand that this person has this particular XYZ vikruti going on. Now, when it comes to the prakruti and the pulse reading or the vikruti pulse reading, prakruti, as I said, it's a lot of practice, deep meditation practice as well to connect to the person, and lots of experience has been needed. Prolonged practices, lots of nadis needs to be seen. Vikruti is, in comparison to the prakruti, can be felt pretty quickly because it's at the superficial levels. Prakruti is actually on the 7th layer. It's actually at the 7th, there are 7 layers, and again, we are not going to go in detail, but it's one of the deepest layer you have to look into. So Prakruti, sometimes it takes a little longer to understand. Vikruti is on the superficial layer, so sometimes it's easy to catch. But this, as I said, this is this Nadi Tarangini, the overall, the instrument which has been developed is catching both Prakruti and Vikruti as well. Now, there are 7 observations which are done during the pulse analysis, which is the gati of the pulse, how fast or slow the pulse is, what type of a gati it is, whether it is sarpa gati, manduka gati, swana gati, or the whatever is the actual thing which has been, what type of a movement is happening. Then how is the vega? Vega is the rate, or the rate of whether it is high, too fast, or slow, or those type of. Then rhythm, same, tala. Tala is like, is it going, just to give you there are different tals in music. Similarly, there are different tals when it comes to the actual pulsating sides as well. Then the force, how good the force is, how quickly that nadi is actually pushing you back, or how nadi, the actual pulse is pushing you back on your fingers. That is also another way of knowing how strong the pulse is. Akruti, or the volume or the tension of the pulse. Then the temperature, when you feel the pulse, is it cool? It is cold or cool, or it is hot or warm? What type of sensations you are getting? And finally, the vessel wall consistency. If the vessel wall is really thick, then you can hardly feel the thing inside. So it's the kathina. The kathina is another way of knowing, or these are the main 7 things which have been noted down when it comes to the observation during the pulse. Now, as I was talking about, this is the India's first and patented pulse device, which is certified by International Organization of Standardization and also the IEC. And this is how the device looks like. This is a part of a device, how it looks like. I have a couple of videos for you guys to see how the overall devices looks. And then afterwards, I'll share a sample of the report, how it looks like. Let's see. All of us, you can see or hear. True revolutions don't happen overnight.
Yes, we can hear.
Nadi Tarangini has taken 13 long years. It all started when Anirudh Joshi, inspired by his father's experience with Nadi Pariksha, made it the subject for his PhD. The first breakthrough was to mimic the way the Vaidya feels the Nadi through pressure sensors and air gaps. This evolved into 3 pressure sensors, one each for the Vata, Pitta, and Kapha points. More experiments followed, leading to the first prototype with a data collection unit. The feedback from medical experts led to the second prototype, which also displayed the Nadi patterns in real time. Easy to use and ultra portable, it fit perfectly into the doctor's life and his way of working. One more round of R&D, and Nadi Tarangini was ready, with a sleek, intuitive, and doctor-friendly design. Visit www.naditarangini.com to see a demo or attend a conference. Okay, so this is an example.
नाडी परीक्षणाला महत्व आहे एखाद्या दुर्धर आजारात
Let me see if I can move this ahead. Give me 1 second. Give me a second. I think I lost a slide here. Okay. So this is another, for me, basically, when we all come from the science backgrounds, as it's hard for us to, first of all, to believe that something can happen or something like this can be a part of Ayurveda as well. So there were lots of questions we came into our minds, or rather, when we are myself and then Sabnis Kaka was also there in the conference. So this is something which it's hard to believe, but we are seeing the things here. And then I came home and I started searching for different articles about the Nadi Tarangini as well. And PubMed, we all know that it's one of the good resource to actually know about it. And I found the papers which have been published here. So it was pretty impressive how the Nadi Tarangini overall works. So if you have time, if you type or if you can just do research on that, you will be able to find those papers which are being published by Dr. Joshi about how the Nadi Tarangini is working. Now, this is how exactly we are going to see how the Nadi Tarangini actually works, how the analysis has been done.
Ever wondered how a simple pulse diagnosis procedure gives deep-rooted insights about your body? With a deep respect for Ayurvedic principles and a commitment to well-being, we present Nadi Tarangini, a patented modern marvel rooted in ancient wisdom, an advanced AI-based sensing technology that gives you access to vital Ayurvedic health parameters. Nadi Pariksha is an ancient Ayurvedic scientific technique to sense a patient's pulse to accurately diagnose a patient's health. A trained expert Ayurvedic doctor senses the pulse by placing their fingertips on the patient's wrist. The patterns of nadi, or the pulse that the doctor senses, give vital information on the patient's property. Nadi Tarangini auscultates subtle changes in overall health parameters based on Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, Tridosha diagnostics. With 85% accuracy, the Nadi Tarangini report is generated within 60 seconds and is based on 22 Ayurvedic parameters that envisage present and possible ailments, giving recommendations on diet and lifestyle changes. We are present in more than 12 different countries. We have successfully sold over 750 devices worldwide. Developed with cutting-edge technology, The Nadi Tarangini is a versatile device that has made significant contributions to Ayurveda hospitals, wellness centers, yoga studios, corporate offices, educational institutions, and research areas, transforming various aspects of our lives, making it a valuable tool in today's world. Its sleek and portable design and simple user interface with any Android or iOS phone or laptop make it convenient to store.
We have integrated the best of ancient wisdom of India, that is Ayurveda, with the futuristic technology. We have created this very indigenous value for which we received multiple awards, including the Startup Award, special mention from the Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji, and so on.
Okay, so this is how the overall the work pattern of Nadi Tarangini is. Let's go back to the here. Okay. So when the overall Nadi is being given, there are two different reports which just gets generated. Here I have given you the report from the client side or the patient side, which you are going to see. There is one report basically done as a Nadi report, which you can actually especially for the practitioners to see how to analyze the Nadi, how much is the bala, all that, all these 7 parameters which we talked about, how the Nadi is looking into, what gati is it in, or what type of a overall analyzed is, or what type of a force it's giving you. All those characteristics are mentioned here, or mentioned in that report, for us to see which particular diet that the client needs to follow, or even if there is anything related to his, you can say, if there are particular allergies the person has, needs to one take it out, one you can add something in. Or if you have a short period of time, if you want to add particular type of a food, this is what you can do. So this is how the report looks like. It for a regular person to understand, it's a very, very easy to understandable report pattern, where what is your Prakruti made up of, how do you see yourself, how you are born with, what is the percentage of your Vata element in your body, what is the percentage of Pitta element in your body, how is the percentage of your Kapha element in your body. What is exactly, and each and everything is very properly described on how the things look like. What is your element of mind? What are your skill areas where you can work towards? Or and skill areas are extremely important, which I find, because there are many people who are non-stop under stress. When I see my clients and patients as well, if they are under stress, and if you know exactly what your Prakruti is and what are your element of skills, you can actually use them to calm yourself down, to do certain practices and bring them back into the mental balance as well. Then what type of a taste you should be adding more into your diet? What are the things which are needed to bring your Prakruti balance Vikruti back into the balance of your Prakruti? So these are the very, very easy information which has been given there. Then this is the summary of this was the first one. This is the second one. So this is the second page with what it looks like. So when the first analysis is given, the second page, something looks like that. It gives you the rhythm of the pulse. Is it an irregular rhythm? So if it is a irregular rhythm, we know it is the Vata. First of all, if it Vata getting overpowered on you, that's the first indication if the rhythm is going irregular. Or sometimes the prahar, or the time of the day also will matter. If the person is thinking a lot, of is in coming back from work, lots of things are interfering during that time when you're actually checking the pulse. And then it gives you the inner health quotient, that what you're supposed to be and how balanced you are, what your Prakriti is ideal for you, and what is your current Vikruti when it comes to the inner health. Are you at so this person which I saw, it's overall the inner health looks good. He has a good fighting capacity against the infections. And when you see the gut health, it is actually declined. So your current ideal Prakriti is Kapha Pitta, but your Vikruti right now is Kapha Vata. So Vata is taking over. Why? I can connect that the rhythm of the pulse is also irregular. So before you actually take the pulse through the Nadi Tarangini, they have first the page for the manual pulse as well. So manually, you first have to first note down the pulse. What are our analysis? We put them on. And then it's a combination which brings in back what Nadi Tarangini is catching as well. So the gut health is giving on the lower side that something needs to be improved. If the person is having a vata increase in the Vikruti or as a part of Vikruti, then the person can probably see a little bit of constipation going on or upset stomach or a lot of thinking like IBS kind of a symptoms can be seen. Similarly, with the mind health quotient, if the person is under certain type of stress, then maybe that is also overpowering or bringing the vata back into the overall body, which is not supposed to be. Then the lubrication level is given, that how your lubrication level is looking like. Is it the medium lubrication level? So if it's a medium level and if you're supposed to be on the higher level or is supposed to be on the normal level, then there are certain dietary changes you can do. Certain herbs can be added. Toxin levels, how toxically you're looking like, is the toxin levels good or bad? If any other type of a panchakarma treatments or any kind of a detox treatments needs to be done, then that is also can be done by looking into the overall Nadi analysis as well. These are the type of diets which they provide. This is a standard diet. This is already pre-made, but we do have a capacity to change it. Say, for example, I don't want this person to take barley. I actually take it out from the system. I can take it out from the report and say, no, I don't want, even though it is mentioned, I don't want you to take the barley at this point. In don'ts, if say buckwheat and miscellany is been noted, but I want that person to add something else, so they do have a capacity to add that. So it's a beautiful software, which is, I find it extremely friendly when it comes to the practitioner side. So this is something which is, it's a type of diet which gets generated overall. And then which type of a yoga, this is another very, very interesting part, and especially for Shri Yoga group, they give you the type of yoga should be done and should be avoided for the person as well. That these are the asanas which will be done or which should be helpful for you to do, and which will give you a proper balance to bring your, or rather bring your Prakruti back. So these are the type of yogasanas which are recommended. There are some yogasanas. Now here, for this particular report, which I'm showing you, this person does not have any, she does not have any thing with the don'ts as well, but she's a very good athlete. So this is something which she should be doing or rather improving in her side. So these are the yogas for her to improve her vata, which is overtaking. Then the fitness wise, for the Western side, you can do aerobic exercise, road racing, running. All these things are being noted down in the report or gets generated rather in the report. Now, this is a program which they give. This is another fascinating thing I find, because this program is based mainly on the Ayurvedic style of eating and not coming from the Western style. You can always improve. As I said, there is a lot of things we can do from our sides that to add certain things or give a different diet. But this diet is based on today's Nadi analysis, what has been seen for the Vikruti, which has been seen. So what to avoid, what to eat, what not to take, what type of drinks to add, what type of a tea combination, decoctions, what type of things to be added in here. And basically, it's a combination. The Ayurveda diet has been combined very gently with the modern world. So it's easy for anyone to follow this kind of diet analysis as well. So this is all about the Nadi Tarangini and the pulse analysis I was saying. And as I said, ever since I bought this machine, where the very next week I started using it in my practice, and I find it extremely helpful. And we have it for the Shri Yoga as well. So we are trying to make sure that at least, because going into a deeper analysis is a different thing, but at least people should know their Vikruti and Prakruti so they can start seeing a practitioner to go further to balance it out. And this is what our goal is right now. So that's what even Shamiska has bought the machine. And as I said, we have our inventor who has joined all the way from India. It's 5 a.m. over there. So he has joined from there. Dr. Zoshi is online as well. If you have any questions, please take an advantage of asking him. He's right here. I'm going to stop sharing. And then if you have any questions, the platform is open.
Namaste. That means with the machine, then you have to be physically present.
That's correct.
So one thing I want to mention is that we will have sessions in Maryland and Virginia, and whoever is interested in getting their Prakruti and Vikruti checked, will have you can put a message in your in the chat box, and I can just contact you. So name, and if you have name and email or name and phone number, then I will be able to contact you. And again, Alka is thank you, Alka, for being available to do this primary test, initial test to check the Prakruti and Vikruti, and then if you are interested in further details, and Alka, you can take a consultation with Alka. Okay. And again, if there is interest, then I am ready to, we can ready to go to a different parts of the country and get more data from the Shri Yoga kind of groups, or Shri Yoga, not necessarily Shri Yoga, but whoever is interested. Okay. So, okay.
Yeah, thank you, Kaka. And then again, as you can see in the little window, Dr. Joshi is there. So if you have any questions, please, this is the time you can. First of all, I'm thankful to him that he joined. So if you can, okay, Gupte Kaka, you have a question?
नमस्कार. Okay, me 22 मध्ये रिटायर झालो, and then I wanted to learn Nadi Pariksha. So naturally, first choice was Dr. Lad, but his fees and timing was too much. Then my research showed me that Doshas साहेबांनी बरंच काम केलंय IIT मध्ये. So I tried to contact you. Then I came to your office in Pune. And that time I think you were ओळख नसेल कदाचित. तुमचा तो नॉर्थ इंडियन सेल्स पण तिकडे होता, सेल्स मॅनेजर कोणतरी. आय वॉज इन कॉन्टॅक्ट विथ हिम फॉर 6 months. पण आपली भेट झाली नाही. मग मी डॉक्टर तेजस्वीन भेटलो आणि त्यांच्याकडून मी बाकीची माहिती घेतली, त्यांच्याकडून रिपोर्ट समजून घेतला काय तो. त्यावेळेला आय थिंक यू आर स्केप्टिकल की मी डॉक्टर नसताना मला कशाला मशीन पाहिजे म्हणून. त्या गोष्टी पण झाल्या. देन अल्टिमेटली मग ते येतच नव्हतं काय. तर त्या वर्षी पुण्याला गोव्याला हे झालं तुमचं आयुर्वेदाचं काहीतरी झालं सेमिनार. तिकडे डॉक्टर छाछडनी एक मशीन इंट्रोड्यूस केलं, सिम्पल काय म्हणतात त्याला, सनाई नावाचं. शेवटी मी ते घेऊन आलो, कारण ते एक रशियामधलं मशीन मला मिळालं होतं, पण दॅट वॉज बेस्ड ऑन HRV. So I didn't want to go into
Sorry to
HIV
interrupt you,
technology.
Gupte. There are some audiences which are non-Marathi. Can you talk in English? That will be appreciated.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about
So
that.
I saw that Russian machine, but it was based on HRV. So I was not interested in that. There's one machine in Bangalore which comes with the one sensor. So even that was not. Anyway, now it's good that I got in touch with Alka Tahi. So I work with her and find out. And just before I leave India, your man called me and he said, "Now the machine is available." So that time is 23rd February. But I wanted to talk to you before that for the software. ते झालंच नाही कधी. तर सध्या मी याच्यावरतीच थोडंफार काम करतोय. But I will get in touch with you.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Alka, thank you. तुमच्यामुळे हा योग आला.
Thank you.
So again, Aniruddha, if you want to say something, not necessarily answering questions, but just what you would like, how this can be helpful for Shri Yoga. If you want to say something, then please do that. Okay.
Yes. So thank you so much, Dr. Alka, for inviting me here and giving such a wonderful presentation. I've been working in this particular field for long, but still learn a bit in every presentation. And I'm going to take the recording for sure to understand even more. I came into this particular field when, my father was not well and he got treated from Vaidyaraj Ashok Bhatt from Pune. And that's how we got introduced to the great field of Nadi Pariksha and so on. So I did PhD from IIT Bombay, computer science in this particular field, and then basically the journey has started. To just answer your question, Gupta uncle, basically what happened was in the initial days when common people bought the device, they Googled something based on the report and they started following something. So I absolutely don't want people to, rely absolutely 100% on the report card and without knowing the background of every parameter and so on, start following anything. So it has to be done by the practitioner, validate whether the report which has come is absolutely right or wrong, because it's a machine. We have to understand this, and then the doctor gives that report card to the patient with all the details and with all the recommendations and so on. So that's why. But now what has happened is that I'll talk to you separately. There are a couple of things which have changed, and so we can discuss further. Uh, so Alka has already shared the website. On that, there is a research page. We have published more than 45 papers, research papers on this. A lot of uh, um, efforts have been gone by most of the doctors. I always say my work has been over now. It's now the doctors who will take it ahead with a lot of data collection, what a lot of research and so on. We are doing India-wide 10,000 people clinical validation here at this particular moment, specifically for diabetes. We are working on various things with respect to um, how to incorporate more and more international level diet, yoga, exercise in the report card. Right now, it is very much Indianized, and very happy to tell you on 25th of August, we are going to launch that international diet. So Alka, who is using this particular product at the moment, who is still getting Indianized diet, will start getting the more of international standard diet into the same. The work is still going on. We are operational at 1,000 locations in India now. Since I visited in the US, I'm getting very good response. Very gladly would like to tell you that um, um, well, I'm still yet to announce, but but couple of more awards we have received, couple of more certifications we have received, and we are making sure that Ayurveda receives, Nadi Pariksha receives all the scientific recognition it really deserves. From the engineering point of view, I'm making sure that no questions are asked from the data point, from the evidence point. The way we have exported yoga to the world, I want to make sure that even the natural transition is going to be Ayurveda. So I want to make sure that it reaches to all people in the most scientific manner. So thank you once again for this wonderful session. If there are any more questions, I'm absolutely happy to answer.
Thank you, Dr. Joshi. Thanks a lot. Well, anyone has any other questions? Prabhati, I got your response.
मला प्रश्न आहे, Dr. Joshi. I have a question. Dr. Joshi, thank you for coming by getting up this early. So just because the Nadi Pariksha is like a heartbeat, I believe. So this machine can tell anything related to heart as well, but not the blood related, like diabetes. Am I right?
It's actually a very broad question. Dr. Alka is the right person to answer, but I'll answer in my way. Maybe then she can continue.
Okay.
So my journey started with the Vaidya who treated my father. And of course, Nadi or pulse is the manifestation of heart. But what he used to tell was, ha manacha alek hai. So so basically this the beat which starts from the heart basically travels throughout the maybe I can give you a lecture separately on how the pulse is formed from engineering point of view. There are 5 different theories. The signal which starts here, how it really is not the same here, and how it collects all different information throughout the body, and how it is really different here. Having said that, these are still initial days. So yes, we are still talking about pulse signal as the manifestation of heart. We have started working on the different types of mental disorders here in India. We are starting a couple of studies in the US. So very soon I will talk whether it is really, body plus mind. Soul will take very maybe couple of more decades to even start. But definitely mind has some point in the pulse. Uh, the way I watch is now talk about cardiovascular points, diabetes, and so on. So it definitely has information about it. Whether clinical validation has been done, no, there is no clinical validation. There are many Vaidyas who have a very deep knowledge of Nadi with yoga abhyas concentration level. They can talk about cancer, diabetes, and many more things with respect to pulse. This particular machine, Nadi Tarangini, is not able to yet. Of course, we have some patterns, but we need to do validation. Our initial results with respect to diabetes have been very promising. And that's why our government, Niti Aayog, has given us 1 crore grant to actually do this 10,000 people clinical validation. So after that, I will give you a very solid answer whether pulse can give diabetes or not. Today, it is a wellness device, well-being device, Ayurveda device, talks about Ayurveda parameters, and we will keep on adding more parameters, more health information as we do more and more, what do you call, research on this particular thing.
Wishing you the best for further research.
Thank you.
And just because one of my friend who's from here, she always wears something that tells her her blood sugar when she's eating. And that is what my concern was or question was. Knowing Nadi is related to your heartbeat. So it will be related to blood pressure, but not the blood sugar. You know what I mean? Because blood pressure is different than the blood sugar. And that's what my question was. That's all. But thank you for the explanation and wishing you the best for further research.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming today.
Thank you. Very quickly, Dr.
Mhm.
Alka in her presentation showed different types of gatis. So
Uh-huh.
each gati actually has some kind of connection with different types. I mean, it's not very one-to-one
Elements.
as allopathy. It's actually many to many, but a pattern resembles, for example, diabetes. The same pattern for
Correct.
some person can resemble something else, and so on. But what we feel is pressure and is pure fluid dynamics. It's pure. So it's not
Mhm.
blood pressure. It's actually pressure.
Hmm.
Okay. And it's actually slightly different from the typical definition of blood pressure that we have in our minds. So that's all for now, but maybe we
Correct.
can discuss
Correct.
further
And
how
I
it
think
is.
I think also you should put the disclaimer when people are buying non-medical field, like a layman person like me, if I'm buying that instrument, I think it shouldn't be allowed to use for a layman because they might make the wrong assumptions and they might think something that they don't have actually, the ailment. So it should be used by the guided expert person like Alka Tai. So that's all I can say at this point. But
I
thank you.
agree with you. I completely agree
I
with
have
you.
a question. I have a
Thanks.
quick question. If you're mentally if a person is mentally very, very disturbed, is it possible to have like a stroke or something?
What do you mean by if a person is disturbed?
Yeah, is distressed or mentally very, very disturbed. Or like sometimes if somebody hears the news that, somebody got killed in an accident or something, would such a thing for the family, for a person, I'm giving an example of somebody I know, would that cause a stroke? Is it possible that if you're mentally disturbed, that because of the vikruti that we talked about?
Yeah, I mean, there are different parameters when it comes to the stroke. We are not going into personalized things, but yeah, there are underlying things which can actually trigger the things, which can actually cause the further problems. but it all depends upon what the person has already to trigger that kind of a thing. So
Okay, so like underlying condition can get triggered with,
of
some
course.
distressing news.
Yeah,
Okay.
stress has a lot of connection. It's a deep connection with our mind. Many things can happen with stress. That's why the first assessment in the assessments also, stress is a very important part when it comes to the Nadi Tarangini analysis as well. We have seen, as I said, I'm really impressed with the way the report is being given. It made our life much easier to see how quickly the things are getting assessed. And it's not the part of, as he mentioned, it's not about if it's particular elements it's giving you. It's our job to know how to read that report and how to connect. But it is giving you the exact vikruti which can connect with the other analysis done by the tongue. This is also done by the inputs which we get it from you.
So we are interested here in Fort Lauderdale, and we'll of course be in touch if you can come here to give us in-person examination.
We are actually the Sabnis Kaka and I, we are talking about that, going in different states and getting this done as we go. First one we are trying to offer in Virginia and Maryland in upcoming months.
Okay, thank you.
So where are you, Girija?
I am in Fort Lauderdale. My son
Okay.
is right now in Virginia,
Okay.
and I would be excited for him to try this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste, Alka ji. I have a general question regarding. So, a very fascinating instrument. Means I am very impressed by it. What it is saying. So, suppose person is coming to you, right? So, suppose you don't have you are not checking with the instrument first. First, you check all the vital signs and like a tongue and whatever analysis you are doing. And when you put the person's finger like on the machine, like a pulse, do you miss how accurate is your analysis with the machine?
As whatever I'm feeling, that's why they have two different parameters. They have first the manual parameter, which is done for us to see what we are feeling. And then they have their parameters, which Nadi Tarangini has come up with. And so far, I have never seen getting mismatched. Whatever I'm checking, whatever pulse I'm checking is the same thing which it's giving me. So it's right now, and of course, we don't rely on any machine 100%, but this comes from your intake as well. It's not just one information I'm getting. It's also the information which coming from your intakes, which coming from your tongue analysis. And it's all coming together and then giving you the final analysis. But this machine has just given me 100% confirmation that whatever I'm facing, whatever I'm seeing is the right thing. And it has also made our job specifically when it comes to the Ayurvedic diet. It has made it much, much easier of typing things, coming to information. It's a lot of things which had made pretty easy to follow.
Right. And
so Niru, I have that machine, and Alka is going to visit and give us sessions on 18th of August, and you are more than welcome to attend and participate and ask all the questions and get a first-hand information about that device. And also that device is it's in my house, so you can always try it. But again, as somebody mentioned that the results have to be kind of interpreted by the doctors.
Yeah, that is certain, because sometimes like an individual person, like I say that, okay, they did the analysis with the machine, but that has to be some guidance with doctors. That is I agree 100%. But another thing, like just there are three prakrutis, means vata, pitta, and kapha. So all the ailments, like I said, diabetes, what Prabhaji was asking about. Is it like that particular type of people, like I say, more vata, more pitta, or more who is more victimized by this? Or
yeah, so there are particular doshas which are one of the culprits which plays the roles in this particular vikrutis, or rather ailments. So there are, like, for example, kapha dosha can go there, even not only just kapha, I'm just giving an example, but kapha dosha might be a good culprit in that situation. Or it also depends upon combination of these doshas, can be multiple doshas coming towards or bringing it or forming this kind of elements in the body. So yeah, there are not just one specific, there are things, doshas, which are connected.
Same thing
And
for
I
the
think
general ailments like a blood pressure. That
yeah,
is
yeah, of
common,
course.
right? For
Yeah,
any.
there is something
So
else,
my
yeah.
question is, I'm just thinking that when you take the like a medicine, right, what Ayurveda or allopathic or whatever. So when you take that to relieve from the ailments, so does it change the Prakruti? Means like a dosha, vata, what effects it is?
No, so when you're taking the actual medications from Ayurveda side, I can tell you that the main job of Ayurveda to bring your Vikruti back to the Prakruti. But
Okay.
when it comes to the conventional medications, as I don't want to make any contradictory statements here because it's not the thing. But yeah, there are the conventional medicines like what we make in the labs. It does not come from like it's not a natural thing you're always saying. It's the processed things which we come out, like any active pharmaceutical ingredients, when we add into the combinations, it's derived from a national source, but it's lab made. So it's not the real thing which so it's a manifestation which you're putting it in. So it could have some effects because your body is not recognizing it as it is, as a natural substance. So our detoxification organs are going to work hard to get that eliminated. So there are changes happening because your body is working towards getting things eliminated. So that's the other reason why we should have an intake to know what kind of an imbalance it is causing on that particular medication can cause on your Prakriti. And that's what has been detected. It's not just the information on the machine. It's also the Ashravida or Dashavida Pariksha.
So
Alka, one question I have is, can the original Prakriti be some defective that somebody has the whatever is the Prakriti has tendency for diabetes, for example?
Yeah, definitely they can.
Okay.
There are some inherited. Yeah, there are. There are
So
more.
whatever is the Vikruti, bringing it to Prakriti may not solve the problem.
No, it's not. It's not always. Even though you bring the Vikruti back to the Prakriti, but if you do not follow the diet or the necessary lifestyle recommendations, what are needed for your Prakriti, it can go back into the imbalance. So it can actually aggravate certain doshas and you can go off balance again. So you have to follow, according to the Prakriti, you have to follow your lifestyle.
Okay. I think Bhavana has one question. So
Yeah, Bhavanati?
at least the
Alka?
Yeah, Bhavanati.
ऐकू येते का?
हो, येते.
in English if possible.
I don't have question, but I want to ask you of this nadi checking, pulse checking. I just had a day before yesterday with my primary doctor's appointment, and she checked my pulse, all different places wherever she could find, and she diagnosed, means she tells me by checking the pulse that my blood circulation was wonderfully working. So that I was very happy. I didn't realize that pulse can tell me about my blood circulation.
Absolutely can. Absolutely.
So she didn't use any tools like a machine, what we are talking about, but manually she just checked it.
Yeah,
And
there are
that,
ways.
and Vikruti is like I'm in a very controlled diabetes, but she always think about heart attacks and she did foot exam, diabetic foot exam. Everything was working very well, but I was happy that without using any advanced technological tools, she manually just find it out. Yeah. So I'm very happy to use again and again that pulse checking manually.
Yep.
So that I had a very good experience. I just want to tell you that always, if we don't have available that new technologies, machine or tools, it's okay. We can check with the manually also.
Yeah, but let me correct you this. Because,
Yes.
and as I said, for checking manually, there are many years of practice is involved. Because
Yes.
when you're checking manually, it's not just one type of pulse you're checking. You are also checking deeply of different elements, and that practitioner needs to have confidence that what you're doing is and then not everybody can do that. Not everybody is, even though we have learned that, but not everybody is pro in that thing. So give you the support, and sometimes the time management also. This type of technology is always helpful to give us a right answer that whatever we are getting is the right thing. Because here, honestly, in United States, we come across, especially practicing as a holistic practitioner, we have lots of rules and regulations we have to follow. So you just cannot, I mean, there are lots of disclaimers we have to put. So it's not just, okay, by touching this, like for us, tongue analysis will tell you everything. Like, okay, this is what is happening. But this can combine together to give you the right path of the things.
Yeah, I got your point, but what I mean this my doctor is not the Ayurvedic doctor, but I think she is working on these things long time.
Exactly.
She had a very good experience. I'm sorry. So I just want to say that it's okay to check like that. Also, it's not always we could go to the Ayurvedic way, you know.
No, because the conventional way of checking pulses is different. That has a different manifestations. That is a different way of interpreting than the Ayurveda interpretation. It's completely different. Yeah, you cannot combine both together. It's a completely different areas.
Okay.
Blood pressure can be checked. Yeah, the regular conventional doctor can easily find out what's going on, but their way of interpreting is different than what you interpret with Ayurveda.
It seems to me, or it sounds to me like if I want to take it like Ayurvedic way, so I should have gone to Ayurvedic doctor.
That's correct. Okay. Because Ayurveda, rather than focusing on a disease, it focuses on the doshas, which needs to bring it balanced. It's not what you are. It's not what you are. It's basically Ayurveda sees why you are getting this disease.
Yes.
It's not the treating of a disease.
Yes, I got it. And your presentation was very informative.
Oh,
thank you so much. And Dr. Joshi's also. So thanks for everything.
So Subodh has one question, and then after that Asha has one question. Okay. So go ahead, Subodh.
Subodhji, your voice is muted. We cannot hear you.
It says it's not mute, but somehow the sound is we can't hear you even though you are not muted. Okay.
So in the meanwhile, if I can really quick ask, familial, they say in the US that Indians have a propensity for high triglyceride and high cholesterol. That is based on our genes or familial history or whatever.
Right.
So how can we use this for that? Is it dependent on the dosha or dosha of Indian people?
It is not the dosha of Indian people. It's the dosha of the person who you are born with, and again, it's not just the Prakruti. Person can on the day one, a baby can be born with a particular Prakruti, but what is fed to the baby, what is the milk, what property of a milk which has been given to a baby can put baby into a Vikruti for throughout his life. So that's also important, that whatever diet we follow, whatever we eat, are we adopting only the one thing that, yes, I'm eating this, but I'm eating also alcohol with that. I'm also taking this. So it's going to affect our things. It's not just the Indian, of course, Asian diets will have their pros and cons. We have, our genes are made to eat particular things. But if we are going apart from or away from what we are supposed to do, yes, we are going to get into the imbalance. We are rather more prone to those diseases. So it's not the Indianized Prakriti, it's the individuality. Over here, I see a lot of people with the same Prakriti is what I see here in Indian people as well. We all have same kind of genetical like organs, and we have all the different same, we are born similarly. It's just the skin and the way you talk, or those are different, but all organs are the same. There's no change in the person in the United States and the person which was born in India. We are made with what surrounds us.
Okay, so let's try to go into sequence in terms of the questions. I think Subodh has a question. After that, Asha, and after that, Subodh. Go ahead, Subodh.
Yeah.
Let's see if you
Yeah.
can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So I have one question and I have one experience that I want to share with.
Sure.
I'm talking about 1979 when I was working with a doctor. I was consulting him, and I was a young boy at that time. And he said, "Subodh, sit next to me. I'm going to check other patients." And using Nadi Pariksha, he was checking a boy of about 10 or 11 years of age. And after checking his Nadi, he said he has worms.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked questions like, while he's sleeping, does he shake his legs very violently and so on? Parents said yes. He did some more of Nadi Pariksha, and then he said that, did his mother have worms when she was pregnant with this boy? And I was absolutely amazed. And so Nadi Pariksha can give you all kinds of diagnosis, if you will. So I am completely a believer in that. And the second thing is that I have been studying homeopathy for last 20, 25 years in US. And I completely believe in the holistic medicine system, which is homeopathy as well as Ayurveda. Ayurveda has a higher or upper hand because Ayurveda can also give you a way of, it's basically a preventative system first and then a treatment system subsequently. So that was the experience that I wanted to share. I want to have a couple questions for Aniruddha. Aniruddha, you are from IIT. So can I communicate with you directly, if that's okay with you? I am an IIT graduate way back in 1981. I graduated.
Okay. I would love to.
So
With
since
the
you are
rest
in
of it,
computer
maybe I
science,
can write my email ID here in the chat box. Okay.
sure. And do you know Dr. Abhiram Ranade?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, he was my classmate. So you know what kind of age I am. So I would like to talk to you. I am in computer science. I'm interested in data science. So I want to talk to you on the technical side of the device.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Subodhji.
So Subodhji, where are you in USA?
I'm in Boston, near Boston,
Okay.
actually, not in Boston.
Okay, thank you.
I'm also
Hello,
on the
Asha.
yoga.
You can ask question.
Yes, hi, thank you. Of course, wonderful presentation, and I'm excited to learn more about this device. My question goes to the basis of data collection, and it will be followed with another question. When one person complains about something or comes to a Ayurvedic Tadnya for first diagnosis, does it matter like the day or the phase in which they are? And I'm coming from the perspective of through menopause. What I have observed myself and my other friends who talk at this age of 50 and around 50 is you are always racing. Your heartbeat is always higher when you're going through the hot flush, right? So if I come to you when I'm in age 40 and I do the Nadi Pariksha and try to take help from an expert to decipher what's going on with me versus a person who is at 52, right? Even with the same person, something has changed. So when you do this, and the second question now, this question is for the data analysis or collection of data and inferencing from the data collected. Do the scientists or the AI program that we are writing, does it take into account this aspect of age group? And even in the age group also it varies. Somebody is at menopause at 45, somebody is at 55. So have we paid attention to that? So there are two-part question, one's for Alka, one's for Aniruddha, and thank you again.
Yeah, Dr. Joshi, you would like to answer first?
Okay, I'll go for the data part. Yes, absolutely. I mean, so what we are doing here is that, as I said, my system is operational at about 1,000 locations, and all the data is coming on the centralized server in the anonymous way. So we have a few of doctors using this as pure research um, so there are doctors who use this very commercially. There are doctors who use this to learn themselves. There are doctors who use this for specifically to validate their own nadi. And then there are doctors who specifically work for research. So those doctors give us very detailed data in the sense that they fill up most of the information on the questionnaire, so that the question which you ask, for example, menopause, or as simple as when did you have your last meal and so on before taking this particular nadi, and they give us very detailed data. So that's how our system gets trained better and better, and it's going in that direction. So I hope I have answered your question.
Yeah, so
How do you, if I can ask another follow-up, if it's okay, if it's no time, I can follow up later, sorry.
yeah,
If
so
there is
Asha,
time.
I think we are gone above a little bit on the time, but let me answer
Okay,
quickly
okay.
of your question. So yes, so basically the Prakriti which we are born with, we don't change. But Vikruti, if you are at the age of 40, you may have a different Vikruti, and the age of 52, when you're menopausing, you may have a different Vikruti. So it has been caught, definitely caught in the pulse analysis. And as I said, I don't just follow the pulse analysis. It's even for any other Ayurvedic practitioner as well. They have other exams. It's not just the pulse exam. They have other observatory exams and intakes, which combines together to form what kind of a dosha we have to work on, or what kind of an ailment we have to work on. So this is a natural phenomenon. Going through the menopause is a natural phenomenon. But not every woman can go with the same symptoms. It can change depending upon what Prakriti you're born with and what Vikruti you're in. A person A or a woman A can have a different one. If she has a hot flash, maybe woman B may not even have a hot flash. So it all depends upon what your doshas are, or rather what you're born with and what your current Vikruti is. And to answer your question that, for example, if you're coming toward at the particular season, the Rutu also impacts. The Rutu also impacts your doshas as well. The proper eating during the Rutus is extremely important. The seasons is extremely important. You cannot, for just to give a simple example, that the watermelon is usually not eaten at night time, because that's a kapha time. So kapha time, if you're eating the kapha food, you're actually enhancing more kapha in you. It's actually you're overboarding that. So there are particular the food categories as well. So the doshas can change. Even the dosha can change monthly. So it's not like today I have this Vikruti. In another week I may have something else. It all depends upon what environment you are in, what you're eating, what has happened to your stress levels. Everything changes.
So let's take okay, sorry, I was just going to suggest that after this let's take only two questions, the one by Subodhan and then by Sampada, and then if anybody else has questions, then we'll have them send the questions directly or put them in the chat box, and then we'll have Alka and Dr. Anirudh answer them later.
Yeah, and Asha,
Thank you.
You have my number, right?
Yes, I do. I will follow up with you. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you so much again for the opportunity and this presentation. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Yeah, thank you.
So go ahead, Subodhan.
No, I think that he already asked, Kaka.
No, there are two different. There is Subodh and Subodhan, so I was not sure if it's the same or not.
No, it's me, and I had in fact I put in the chat. My question is answered. Thank you.
Okay, good. Okay, all right. So Sampada, go ahead, and if you have a question.
Thank you, Sir Kaka and Alka, for wonderful presentation. Thank you, Anirudh, doctor. Actually, जे मध्यात आता काही क्वेश्चन्स आले त्याच्या रिलेटेडच मला पण बोलायचं होतं की आयुर्वेदा रिअली हॅज लाईक डीप रूट्स आणि देर हॅव बीन they have figured the ways out before even the modern medicine. So, आणि जे आता what Alka said is like, the Vikruti or doshas can change significantly. I'm also into the research. So in the drug development also, when they use the same water source, but just as the season changes, the composition of the soil and water changes, which can ultimately lead to a particular kind of impurity percentage and everything in the drug development thing too. So similarly, if we see like in traditional Indian practices, there were many less kind of like cancers or these things were found, and because we were already using like turmeric and everything. But nowadays, if you see in US, you will see people, they are going for turmeric tablets, whereas in our Indian or like Indian, I would say usual our cooking is based mainly on Ayurvedas and traditional cooking ways. So that's where I find it like that Ayurveda has deep knowledge, and they have put forward the practices just now, as Alka said, like okay, during summer we eat watermelon, but it's always better to eat it during the day rather than a night. So I think it's like we again have to go back to our own original roots and try to understand rather than getting it just um, what blinded with the new modern science and modern tech, developments and medicines is my take so far.
Yep. Thank you, Sampada. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Dr. Anirunda, I was just going to say that sometime you may have the device as just like a wristwatch, which will in real time, give you, what's your Vikruti and what you need to do about it. Okay.
I think he's working on that, it seems.
Working on that. So I definitely want to create the ecosystem of Ayurveda in a similar fashion how allopathy has developed, and it should integrate well with the conventional or whatever is the current pathy which we are using at the moment, so that both pathies should talk to each other. I think there are pros and cons of both, and we should ultimately the patient should win. The person should not get into patient stage is what I feel. I deliberately did not answer your question, Kaka, before. You asked how Shri Yoga can, how can we work this at Shri Yoga and something like that. So I propose 3-4 things. One, we are coming up with a yoga report. I think I showed you at the conference also. Maybe I can make you a beta user. The validation of that particular yoga report is going on, and maybe you can also contribute whether it's working, how it is useful, and so on. That is on one end. Secondly, we actually get involved with many doctors at a very personal level. Doctors or now yoga studios also, in which there are doctors who use this. There are doctors who have their own medicines. There are doctors who have their own methodologies and so on. And there are no ways for them at particular moment to prove that particular methodology or medicine or a particular yoga that they have developed and so on. So if you want to use this machine more like a pre-post or during how a particular patient got better and better and better during the visits. So there are many of our doctors who present their methodologies or their medicine or their experience through actual one particular let's say Agni or Tikshnata Guna or something like that, and so on. So we can do some systematic study of a particular yogasan or I don't know what is and that is second which we can do. Third, maybe more like a camp. I suggest that invite as you rightly said that right now at 2 locations you are doing this, but creating more awareness. People like devices, people like instruments, people like report cards, and so many people can actually come and then turned into frequent believers of Ayurveda, yoga, and so on. So that is, but we can discuss further.
Yeah. So we'll certainly try to keep people more aware of this instrument, and can then have Alka actually conduct the sessions, and so that they know about it, and then that word will spread, and then we'll just get more and more information. And
Absolutely.
thank you very much. And again, yoga, we have lots of students and teachers, and so if there is somebody interested in certain type of experiment, that how this particular asana affects something, then we can, yeah, yeah, go
Oh,
ahead.
if it is like that, I suggest we do something like multicentric. I don't know. That will be one. That will be one great. But we'll talk separately on that. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. Good.
I like what he said, because how they say your breathing or your thoughts affect your breath, and then how when you do pranayam and then it calms you down. So people doing pranayam and then you do the test, and then when you're agitated, you do the test. That's excellent.
Yeah, and then just to give you guys an idea that he's actually coming back. We are conducting a session with Dr. Joshi again in October in another platform, but probably Sabnis Kaka will probably bring him back again on this platform also to talk more. And Dr. Joshi, to give you an idea, Anaghatai is also here. She's one of the core member of our BMM meditation self-care group. So she's here to listen to you as well.
Thank you. So glad to. Namaskar.
So,
And
Dr.
as Alka
Joshi,
said,
we have
anytime you are
you.
interested in just giving us Shri Yoga platform usage, you can use Shri Yoga platform anytime if you want to, can inform more people, and have some new inventions that you have done and want to talk about it. And sure, you are very welcome to use it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Nakki मला आवडेल.
Okay.
All right. I think that
Sorry,
was
Anjali, you are saying something?
Oh no, I was just going to say, like, now that we have a Dr. Joshi, we are going to pile up all our demands on him.
It's better that those demands come through Dr. Alka.
Yeah,
कारण
I was just going to say that.
always better
I think
that कसं होतं अदरवाईज की म्हणजे आय डोंट नो तुमची बॅकग्राऊंड काय, पण तुम्ही इंजिनियर असू शकता, मी इंजिनियर, आपण दोघं काय बोलणार आयुर्वेदावर. सो इट्स बेटर दॅट कम्स थ्रू.
No, I absolutely agree that it has to channel through a doctor, or and Alka is the best one that we have here.
Maybe Dr. Joshi, you need to get the yoga certification and the doctor certification.
No, he doesn't need to do that. He's already has delegated to many of the doctors and yoga practitioners. Okay.
But thank you. All three of
10
you.
सेकंदाचं उत्तर देतो. लेट मी. सो So I've been working on this for more than 17 years now. मी नक्कीच नाडी परीक्षा शिकलो असतो. But deliberately I'm not learning this, because here in India there are so many doctors who have learned from different Guru Shishya Parampara of Nadi Pariksha, and there are different methodologies of Nadi Pariksha. For example, Dr. Alka mentioned about 7 layers of Nadi, and so on. So there are different methodologies. So if I learn a particular methodology, then I will digitize that Nadi. I don't want to do that. I want to work with different doctors, different, let's say, Guru Shishya Parampara, and I want to make sure that they come on a single platform, they talk to each other, and we create such a ecosystem so that everyone, millions of people, eventually get benefited. So that's why I'm happy to be engineer doctor.
Of course, always a good idea. Thanks. Thank you.
So Alka, did you want Anaghatai, did you want to say anything? And you had the video on.
Right. I just want to say exceptionally nice presentation. I'm so happy with your machine, Dr. Aniruddha and Alka. I'm going to consult you to get the report from the machine and the pulse, which I never believed in all this. But you sold me on that. I never believed in Ayurveda. I mean, like Ayurveda for my digestion, or I have consulted someone in Pune and it's very good. But I never thought of consulting other things. But I thank you, Dr. Aniruddha, for your machine, and Alka for your expertise. So you're going to see me there. That's all I want to say. And thank you, this Shri Yoga, Srikanji,
All right.
for arranging
Thank
this.
you all. I think we can end the session.
Sure. Yeah. And thank you, Dr. Joshi, for making time for us. So
Yes,
early
yes,
in the
yes, very
morning.
much.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, good night, everyone.